Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. That line from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the movie, has been on my mind a lot lately. I think so many of us are kind of just in survival mode. This week, I want to share a few stories of some recent events that have happened to me that I think you'll enjoy and get a kick out of. Like, lately, I've really tried to make sure that I'm living in the now, in the present, because as we know, that's a gift. From a daily walk on the beach to an amazing sunset, all the things that never really make the camera reel, shopping with my daughter at Home Depot. What if it's a matter of just switching our mindset, just taking time to appreciate those little moments a little bit more? Tonight, we're going to share a few heartfelt laughs and end this day on a great note. Let's get into it.
Hey, Stephie Kay got something to say. Talk that listens, clears the way. Truth on the mic, grounded in change. You sticking with that? Oh yeah, we sticking with that. Laugh it out, talk it through, we ain't looking back.
Some chats ain't easy, but we take it slow. Tough stuff tackled, now watch us glow.
Sticking with it. Yeah, we sticking with
I recently saw this quote, and I thought it fits into our episode perfectly. Life starts to sound softer when you choose peace and focus only on what you can control. I think many times we try to control everything and we get ourselves all worked up when, if we're able to focus and live in the moment, it brings us such a sense of calm without us even realizing it. May is a big month in my world, and it starts off with my birthday. As we add another year, sometimes we don't greet it with as much excitement as we once did. Some birthdays are more memorable than others, aren't they? This year was one of the first in a while that I will put on the extra special list. Before we get into this year's festivities in Orlando, I want to do a brief mention on my 49th birthday, which would have been the year of COVID. March and April of 2020, I was spending the majority of my days watching the news, which now, obviously, I don't even plug my TV in, but that's a story for another day. My best friend at the time, in an effort to make my birthday super memorable, she organized a flash mob in the street. My birthday being the kickoff of May, which is May 1st, she had, I want to say all of our mutual friends show up, but I'm going to say there were 30. I don't even know how she did it. But she organized all these people to come and take dance lessons in her driveway. And let's also preface with the fact that she's not a dancer. She's a lot of amazing things, but dancing's not necessarily her forte. She's more of a traditional sports girl. Anyway, picture me sitting in the driveway, knowing there's some kind of event coming. Everyone we know comes and does this amazing, spectacular performance in the street and then just drives away and leaves. Over the top, it will be remembered forever, probably by every single one of us. And I don't even know what it took to pull that off. But if you've ever seen, there's an episode of Modern Family where Cam and Mitch are at maybe a mall, and Mitchell set up a flash mob situation, and Cameron didn't know. He thought he was just going shopping. And everybody knew the dance, even Mitchell, but Cam didn't know it. And he's kind of sitting there like doing the motions and not knowing. It kind of felt like that a little bit, like I wanted to jump in so bad, but I didn't know what they were doing. But also trying to be present in the moment and loving every minute of it. So that is one that super stands out. But let's fast forward to this year of 2026. I may have mentioned in the past, I love to overdo for everybody else. Like I love to have the party bus, or, we're going to rent a room and do this, or we're going to get a limo, or we're going to do whatever. And even if it meant, going without for myself, it meant the world to me to have an amazing experience for my friends. So this year I had a couple friends fly in. One flew in from Texas and one from Nebraska. And then I have a friend that lives in Orlando. So the four of us gals spent some time over the weekend celebrating which was amazing. I had purchased already some things that I thought would make my birthday special, like a little crown and some flowers and balloons. One of my friends, Jen, that came in, she had purchased all of that too. So we had kind of double of everything, which was over the top. And sometimes when you get to be our age, it's really fun to have a birthday here and there that's still over the top, reminding us, we're still here. Fast forward, we went out on that Friday night. And one of the things that this particular group likes to do is go to the dueling pianos. And there's a particular place, I think it's at Universal Studios where we've gone. There's like an Irish place. And I bet you we've gone 5 times. And so we were thinking, well, let's try something new. Well, as we were looking at options, we found out there was a restaurant that had dueling pianos that was near us. So we tried to book tickets and it was sold out. We thought, well, let's go anyway and just see. So we showed up and somehow got the front and center table right in front of the pianos, and it was spectacular. The food was over the top amazing, and it was just one of those unexpected, amazing evenings that I will always remember. And I think sometimes we think, oh, well, we shouldn't go, we didn't get tickets, we can't get in. But I always believe just go and see what happens. And this was another instance of a daily gift that might have gone unnoticed, but not this year. And in reflection, I did feel a little bit with my friends flying in. That's never happened before, ever. That was the first time in my life that my friends have done that. Now, also to say, I guess usually I'm in Nebraska and my friends are just there. So there is that piece of it. But it kind of reminded me of that movie, 27 Dresses, with Kevin and Jane when he's interviewing her. She's going over all the brides that she's been there for and all the things she's done. And he says, and what happens when you need them? And she says, well, then they'll all be there for me. And I would say my friends were there for me tenfold this year, which was amazing. I thought you might enjoy hearing about a few things that happened back in 1971. What things cost? Gallon of milk, $1.37. Loaf of bread, 45 cents. Can you even imagine? Dozen eggs, 53 cents. A movie ticket, $1.65. A new car, $3,742. Get out of here. Postage stamp, 8 cents. Some of us might not even know what a postage stamp is anymore. Average income per year, $10,290. Isn't that crazy? Technology-wise, in 1971, Ray Tomlinson invented the first network email system, sending the world's first email. In sports, the Super Bowl champs that year were the Baltimore Colts. Well, this is a little bit shocking. Women in style, maxi dresses, and Birkenstocks. What? In 1971? And men's style was something called winkle pickers and candy stripe blazers. World population hit 3.77 billion in 1971. President was Richard Nixon. Pop music, top songs were Imagine by John Lennon, Maggie May, Rod Stewart, and She's a Lady by Tom Jones. Movies were Fiddler on the Roof and Diamonds Are Forever. Isn't that interesting? And here's what the front of the card looks like. It's a lot of numbers on there for people that love numbers. On my 2025 list of things I wanted to do, I still hadn't swam with the dolphins. And so on my way out of town that weekend, I took time to do just that. For those of you who have experienced such a thing, it is kind of an amazing, memorable experience. The place I did it was at Discovery Cove in Orlando. I participated in several dolphin boat rides, and so this was obviously different being in the water with them. They take all the pictures, all the cool stuff, share a little bit of background information that you might not know, fun facts. I was surprised at how rubbery they are. That was probably one of the most unique things, but it was definitely a moment I will never forget. Mother's Day was this past weekend, and I'd like to wish a happy belated Mother's Day to all of you out there, hoping that your day was spectacular, whether you got to spend time with your kids, your fur babies, or simply do something you love to do. As I communicated with my daughter the week prior to Mother's Day, we had planned to go to brunch. As I continuously remind myself of ways I have grown and react differently to certain situations, I'd like to share the following. I was in charge of making the arrangements. And I kind of waited till the last second. I don't exactly know why I did that, but but that's what happened. I decided I'd really love to have Mother's Day brunch downtown. So I started at one restaurant, and what I had found was apparently if you wait till the afternoon before, you're not going to have a lot of luck because everybody's booked. I proceeded to walk 2 or 3 blocks through all the restaurants to ask each of them if they had any openings, and they did not. Everything was for evening. So I went and got a coffee and thought, okay, well maybe we're supposed to do, dinner instead, which is fine. With the tenacity that I have, I decided to try one more place. And she initially said they were booked, and she's like, well, would you mind sitting outside? And I'm like, no, that would be perfect. She had a reservation available for 10:30 a.m., which was exactly the time I wanted. I was like, no way, this can't even be real. I let Sydney and Grant know that the reservation was made, and Grant was worried he was going to be called out of town at the last minute. There was a few moments of we might have to cancel after all that. So after walking the whole strip, finally getting a magic reservation, I don't even know how it happened, then I was going to have to cancel it. And I thought, nope, I'm going to stay calm. Calm as a cucumber. I'm not going to stress about this. It's all going to work out. So pretty soon I was notified that Grant was going to make it. We were on for brunch. And I was so thankful that I didn't react and that I didn't, cancel that and try to make a dinner reservation. It all worked out perfectly. So as we were sitting at the brunch on Mother's Day, by some stroke of luck, there was a private saxophone player. I don't know where he came from, maybe for weddings. I really don't know. But he was incredible. And he was kind of right outside our table. And he played the most amazing songs all through the Mother's Day brunch. It was so spectacular. And I don't know how he chose our block and not a different restaurant down the road, but I was so grateful, and it was so amazing. He played all of the fun songs. It's a Mother's Day that we'll always remember. My daughter Sydney and I were able to continue on our day and had our wedding dress appointment. For those of us mothers, when you have a little girl, you dream of her growing up and getting married. And one of the things you look forward to doing is shopping for her wedding dress. And to be able to do that on Mother's Day, it was just next level, over the top, spectacular. So we didn't find the dress, but it was early shopping. And funny story news, I have this neighbor that lives across the hall, and I never remember his name. It's a unique name. So let's just call him Sal. I've lived across the hall from him for about a year and a half. And sometimes I will go 6 months and never see him. And then sometimes I'll see him like 3 times in 1 week. Super nice guy. Had some good conversations, all the stuff. But there's been a few instances, like the first time I met him, you're like, okay, this is my name. And we're just meeting briefly in the hall, and I'd eaten an ice cream cone. It was like a 90-degree day. And I had stopped at the gas station for gas, and apparently didn't realize, like, I was holding my cone in one hand and the gas in the other. And I had like spots of ice cream stuck to my face everywhere. And later on, looking back, I just thought, probably not the way you typically want to meet your neighbor, but that's what happened. So fast forward to maybe 2 months ago. I'm not even going to tell you that story. That's too crazy. So I don't know him super well, but I know he's a very kind person, kind of shy, quiet, introverted type. So much to my dismay, a couple days ago, I exit my apartment and there's a just married sign on his door, which is incredible. I'm so happy for him, and I'll probably get him a gift. But I've never seen her. I'm excited to meet her very soon. But I thought it'd be funny if I had my own sign. I was feeling a little bad because I didn't have a sign. I put a sign on my door that said, "Not quite dating." And I was laughing hysterically for a long period of time. I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. As I continue on my weight loss journey and my healthy lifestyle choices with going to the gym regularly, the gym I belong to offered a contest that happened this past Saturday. And my workout partner, Stacy, and I decided, you know what, let's just do it. Didn't know what we were getting into. We weren't exactly sure what it entailed, but we knew it would be challenging. So we did it. We got up early and went, and there were maybe 40 people from a variety of locations that all had come to compete. So they had maybe a total that you and your partner had to accomplish together, but you each had to do half. Everybody ended up having to do each activity. There were 8 activities. So I think there was a rope pull, there were burpees. I think we had to do 15 burpees each, some kind of squats, wall squats, the rowing machine. We had to carry the kettlebells down and back. There was a variety of things. And then in between each activity of the 8, we had to run to the bike room and bike 0.3 miles. Each partner had to bike 0.3 miles before you could go back and do the next activity. So picture you're running and you're biking in between each of the 8 activities, and you complete it all once you do your last bike ride after the 8th activity, and then you run back. So we saw that there were some medals, for the like first, second, and third sitting on the table, but they were kind of vague on the rules, and we were just happy to finish, breathing. And so anyway, we did that. We were so happy. We got it all done. We were dripping with sweat, but such a sense of pride, kind of feeling like we were indestructible because we accomplished such a huge feat. And it was the first contest for both of us. But what was interesting to me is there are people that were like 40 and up, let's just say. And then you have like the 20 somethings that are ripped to no end. There's not an ounce of fat on them. And they're obviously training for some Olympic marathon or something. But they had us all in the same division. So I'm fine with not winning. That's fine. That's totally cool. But it just seemed to me it would have been a little more fair had they separated by age, maybe, like 20 to 40 and then 40 up or something like that. Or even separated the boys from the girls because we were all together. So by the time we finished, which was very respectable, the winners had gone home. They were gone. They didn't even do like a big ceremony. And I just thought that was kind of weird. Oh, just an odd way to do it. So I will most likely be putting in my 2 cents so that next year they can maybe consider it being more apples to apples or oranges to oranges, whichever kind of fruit you want. But the experience overall was amazing. It was a good bonding activity for my workout partner and I, and I will always remember that. Not every beautiful moment comes with fireworks. Sometimes it's dolphins or a piano song or a sunset or a sign on your neighbor's door that cracks you up. Sometimes life is quieter than expected, but it's still good. I think it's important to just have fun. Like do things that bring out the passion in you, bring out the excitement in you, even if it's something you haven't done in years. Bring out the child in you. Do it. Don't think about it, just do it. Thanks for listening to You Stickin With That. A reminder that you can find us on Wednesday nights at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on all major social media networks. For my Stephie Kay's out of the day, if there's someone that's been on your mind and you keep thinking, I should call them. Maybe it's a former college roommate or just someone from your past, a friend. There's usually a reason for that. So I would take time to reach out and just say hi. Even if you don't even know why, you might discover that hearing from you means more to them than you possibly know. And in closing, on this evening with the magical sunset behind us, don't wait for everything to be perfect to enjoy your life. Some of the best parts are happening now behind the scenes. You just need to remember to look there. I'm Stephie Kay. I love you guys. Have a fantastic week.